Heyo, it's the mighty Omni Dog. How are you guys doing out there today? Omni Cats and Omni Kittens, and Omni Dogs too. This is Omni Dog. Thanks for tuning in. And if you look at the title of this, it's pretty simple concept. Ed Brubaker's Captain America. Does it live up to the hype? So just a little bit of background. I have had these Captain America books. There's 5 of them. Captain America, Death of Captain America. Spoiler alert, he dies. Oh, whoops, wait, what? Captain America lives. Then the Trial of Captain America. God, these things are heavy. And then Return of the Winter Soldier. So, I could make this a real short video and just say, yes, they live up to the hype. Boom, it's over. So, the only reason I'd like to go into it a little bit and say why it's worth the hype is the story is that I've had these books ever since they came out. And this is years that I've had them. I had them when they were whales, then they finally came back into print. Now some of them are whales again. I think these things will probably always get reprinted. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure now that they probably will always stay in print. And, there could be 6 months a year between them. But if something's out of print now, just wait. It will come back into print. I'm pretty sure of that. So I finally said to the Minister of Comics, that's it. I'm reading Captain America. I'm reading it now. And he said, that's the 500th time you've told me that. So I sat down a couple of weeks ago and I read Captain America in a weekend. I read them all in a weekend. Thursday, I read 2 books, took Friday off. Saturday, I read 1 book, and then I finished the second 2 books on Sunday. That shows you what a great story this is that Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting have with other artists filling in here and there. And then there's some crossovers in there, Civil War, stuff like that. But it was so compelling and so well written that I just burned through them. And so I want to make sure the new Captain America reader knows that this is very beginner friendly. If you can't start, in my opinion, you can't start a better place than Captain America with Brubaker, because not only does it deal with Captain America in the modern age, but Brubaker's the one who introduces us to the Winter Soldier. In case you haven't seen the movie, in case you haven't read the books, I won't tell you who that is, but somehow I have a feeling you know who it is. And it goes into a lot of history throughout all 5 books. One thing that ties them together is Steve's history back in World War II with Bucky. And they relive in different ways, countless times, the last time Cap saw Bucky and what happened. There's a lot of mind management and hypnosis going on in this book, a lot of brainwashing, programming, deprogramming. It is written so well and so fascinating. Everybody's got demons in this book, and the demons all show up to visit them at the worst possible moments. And there's an element of humanity to Steve Rogers that may have been lacking with other writers. I haven't read Mark Waid's Captain America yet. I bet it's great. But there's a real sense of humanity. I won't say more than on the other writers. Just that Brubaker captures a real sense of Steve Rogers' humanity here. Questioning things that he did in the past, how he remembers a lot of the times he is remembering how he met Bucky, what they went through in World War II together. And it makes it a fascinating, fun read. So obviously Ed Brubaker came up with the concept for the Winter Soldier. A lot of people think Winter Soldier's if it's not the best Marvel MCU movie, it's in the top 3. It's a personal preference thing. I love that movie. You've got the death of Captain America. Who did it? How? And how come? That's also good. I mean, that's it. This is some kind of cover. I mean, this just looks amazing to me, and I was shocked in it. Well, it comes at the last issue of the first Captain America, and then it reprints it here. But it's shocking and really well written what happens. And, well, what the heck? Captain America lives. So, you know, they bring him back, yada, yada, yada. It's perfect for a beginner because it introduces the concept of Cap in the modern day, a man out of place, man out of time, kind of wistfully looking back at World War II with a little bit of rose-colored glasses as he and the invaders and Bucky helped change the course of the war, which is something that Timely did back then, but not DC. DC didn't have Superman and Batman go over and fight in the trenches in World War II. But back in the 40s, that's exactly what Captain America did. And in these books, they actively changed the course of the war. So, I mean, that's not spoiling anything. But what happens to Bucky and the unlayering of it and the romance that Bucky has with a certain character and Steve's romances are all handled. Bucky's romance is amazingly touching and completely makes sense. And then Cap has his romances, which are fine and also make sense. But the one with Bucky is the most compelling. When you read it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but when you read it, you'll see why. So if you want, is it compelling? Is it amazing? Is it well written? Yes, yes, yes. It flows organically. There are no major, I mean, it is Captain America, so there's no major plot holes. You're not looking for any kind of superhero reality kind of thing like, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't jibe with Cap 77 back in the early 80s or whatever. It's writing a new canon, and so he's doing everything, Brubaker does everything according to his own plan. I don't know if he wanted to go further or if he came to an end on his own. I feel like maybe editorial, I'm sure it's on the internet, why it ended. Something tells me he probably didn't want it to end, but the creation of the Winter Soldier is an amazing creation that the whole the whole series centers around, and it's just an amazing character invention that Brubaker does that allows him to tell so many other stories around it while it remains the focal point. So this totally lives up to the hype. I'm so sorry I didn't read it sooner, but I had a blast when I read it, and I have a couple other books that I can recommend to you after Captain America dies. Spoiler alert, but it's called Death of Captain America. There's a book called Fallen Sun, and it's how the heroes on the cover here grieve for Captain America. And it's by Jeff Loeb, and it's told denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. It's not essential, but it's fun. And it can be read right after the first book or halfway through the second book, say. I wouldn't call this essential, but it's a fun piece of Marvel's superheroes' reaction to the death of Captain America. So Fallen Sun, then I think a book that is kind of essential because it really helps you understand who the invaders were as told from the Marvels project. So it's sort of like Marvels in that it's told from the perspective of a homeland superhero who's watching these invaders get created and recruited, and that is Toro, Human Torch, Bucky, Captain America, and Namor, the submariner. I used to call him the submariner when I was little. And it's told from a perspective of sort of a homegrown U.S. soldier, U.S. Civilian who takes over as, what is his name? I know, I suck. Human Torch with the bird is one of its own goals. Oh, the Angel. Angel is what he calls himself. So this gives you a history of what is going on, the creation of the team that is referred to so much in the Brubaker series. So this gives you a lot of background on them because they are mentioned so much in the books that I think it would behoove you to get this book digitally or physically. I don't know if it's out of print or not. If it's out of print, read it on online. But this really informs you as to who the invaders are. So I highly recommend this. To be read right after the first book. You could read it before the first book, but I think it feels, it's a prequel, but I don't know, maybe up to you. You read it first before Capt America, or read it, I read it afterwards, but I already knew about the invaders and all the characters, but I felt it helped me more to read it after. It's up to you, however you want to read it. But these books more than lived up to the hype. Perfect place for a beginner. Perfect place for someone who's always wanted to read Captain America but hasn't really been motivated or interested. These are the perfect books to start with. They are phenomenally written. He deserves all the credit in the world for making Captain America this interesting and going into the deep recesses of his mind and therapy things, and just really breaking open Captain America to examine how he reacts to things, not physically but more emotionally. And then there's, of course, the whole thing Bucky goes through. It lives up to the hype 100%. If you've been leery, please get it. If it's on your shelf, please read it. If you read it 5 years ago, please reread it. Peace and love, peace and love. This is OmniDog signing off, saying please like the video if you could. Send me comments if you would like, and subscribe. Appreciate all of you who watch. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Thank you so much for caring what I have to say. I appreciate it. Thanks. Peace and love.